Moving from the revenue side to the expenditure side, as you may know, funding for Greene County Extension was reduced 4 years ago to the minimum set by state law in 1961. That minimum amount of $10,000 set in 1961 is not enough to operate a county office and all functions today. What do you propose for restoring revenue for Greene County Extension, or do you see additional ways that the county can partner with Extension? And we'll begin on that question with candidate Trixie.
Well, as a libertarian, it makes me a little bit weird coming in here because I don't believe in Missouri Extension Council. If these things are profitable to do soil samples and go into rural environments and give agricultural information to county residents, it should be profitable, right? And this is the things that private businesses should be doing. And we keep talking basically about taxes, revenue, and really what we're talking about here is called central planning. When the government decides things and starts to do things, it's hard for the capitalist or the individual to do what they need to do or decide what they need to do. Is something F.A. Hayek talked about. And so really, for me, discovering more funding for that is not important to me. Really the goal is to reduce the funding. And going to Missouri State and OTC, and we have a lot of horticulture majors and agriculture majors there, and they all know that the job outlook isn't great. And so it's really a way of putting hope into minds of people who should be looking for jobs elsewhere.
Thank you. Candidate Certain.
You cannot reduce it lower than $10,000. $10,000 is what the state statute mandates, and that's where the county commission is now, is $10,000. You can't go any lower than that without breaking the law. The University Extension is a fantastic organization. Okay, I've been going to their council meetings for the past year and a half, and their banquets. Whenever they have meetings and I can go, I am there because I believe in them. They do such a wonderful service, or such wonderful services for this county and for this community. The 4-H program, the nutritional training, the Master Gardener program. I've only got a certain amount of time, so I can't go through all of those. But I am a believer in University Extension. I know what they do. And I wouldn't waste my time one Monday evening a month going to their meetings if I didn't believe what they do. I do. It's a fantastic organization. As a matter of fact, I was going to hold up until I dumped it on the floor a few minutes ago. There's a pamphlet that I recommend that everybody in this room take a look at because of the funding shortage. They do raise a lot of money themselves. My wife and I have been privileged to make a contribution every year to the University Extension. I'm proud of that because it is a good organization. As far as their funding, I'm not a politician, so I don't make promises that I may not be able to keep. And so what I will do, we have to look at the financial situation at the time that decision is made. I know the commission really wanted to, they worked hard to try to raise that amount this year to $27,000. I would like to do that. But obviously you can't say today what you're going to do 8 months or 10 months from now. That doesn't make any sense. But what I can tell you is that it is a priority for me, the University Extension.
Thank you. Candidate Festermaker.
Yes, I agree with Bob about the viability and the desirability of the program. I've read their business plan and all the materials and what have you. And in 100 years, a lot of people will benefit over the services and the people and the resources provided. The fact of the matter is, though, in public service today, and in governments at the local level, the burden of what's going on in the country and what's not going on in this country in terms of economic dollars to be spent and transferred is diminishing. And it's going to continue to diminish. I think the county commissioners set their priorities, and we've ended up with a $10,000 contribution. I'd like to see it to be more. From what I can tell right now, I doubt that's going to change much in the next couple of years. I think that, and I mentioned a little bit earlier, one of your council members, I think you got a plan that says raise money. I think when you're trying to do public service oriented activities, you've got to depend on yourself to survive. To do that, you got to get more fundraising, get more, maybe the county can help you in some regard in terms of putting on events or making speeches or getting in contact with people, but to think that you're going to gain on On the dollar contribution out of the county, right now, I think I would not bet on that. So I wish you the best of luck and work hard, because the organization's worth it, and the people you support, I think, should help support you.
Thank you. Candidate Helms?
Education for life is where America is today. If you're not willing to train and retrain over your lifetime, you'll be left back in the dust. And I think Missouri Extension does a great job in providing that. My simple formula for budgetary items are we pay for the essential services of government first. If we have money left over, then we look at things. The council of Missouri Extension is a very important aspect of the education program. But again, it's not law enforcement, it's not the courts, so it's a priority. Let me just get back to one thing. Mr. Certain says he's not a politician, but he's very good at playing words. And when I say that I'm not going to raise taxes, I think most people out there know what I'm talking about. But let me be very specific. I will not vote to place a tax request on the ballot so that people have the opportunity to vote for it. That's what I'm pledging. And so that's what I think most people understand when I say I'm not going to raise taxes. But just to clarify, so I'm asking you if you would vote to not raise or put a tax on the ballot for the people to vote for. Because I think the problem is we live in a republic. And only the commissioners, the budget officers, and the people really know, those in the county know what's being spent and where it's being spent. But then they create all these problems, these issues, and they blow them out of proportion, and they say, oh, we've got to have money, we've got to have money, we've got to have money. But the people really don't know. They take your word. But let's just think back. Was it less than a year ago we had a tax increase, the county was going to go bankrupt? And then 1 year later, the solutions were found. The solutions were found not with a strategic plan or a 10-point plan. The solutions were found with just simple budgetary things. You don't spend more than you make. And if we follow that simple solution, Greene County over the next 3 to 4 to 5 years will come out of our problem. That is the reality. That's all we have to do. It's not complicated, just simple budgetary living.
Thank you.